Today, I wanted to show you guys how I create a mood board for my clients. So, the first thing I like to do is make a grid. I usually do 3 by 3, so it makes 9 squares, so I can fit a lot of different elements in there. I like to include photos, design elements, typography, anything. And I also like to add the color palette down here. Sometimes I put the color palette wherever, but I'm just going to put it down here for this video. I also like to do arrows that will be for keynotes where I will add in little things to kind of describe why I chose them. I like to find all of my inspo on Pinterest or even Behance. It's one of my favorite parts because I just like looking at all the different designs. This is where I'm going to find everything from packaging design to typography or social media or web design inspo. I've already actually created a Pinterest board, so I'm kind of just going through here and finding some extra ones. I really like Pinterest because obviously you can find more stuff as you go. And then I'm just going to drag and drop this right into my Adobe Illustrator file. Once I have everything, I kind of organize it and just kind of place them around. I actually ended up getting rid of a few of these because I felt like I had a little bit too much packaging design. And then from here, I like to add the photos in here. I like to add the photo in the middle, which will be kind of the photography direction. It kind of gives the overall mood. Sometimes I'll put the color palette in the middle, but it kind of depends on what I'm feeling like. And then I'm just going to add all of my photos into these little boxes. Sometimes I'll kind of edit the photos just to take certain pieces of them. Sometimes I also like to take photos that have a lot of color, and I'll just kind of steal some of these colors and place them into the little palette and kind of go through all the photos that I have in the mood board. This will not be my final color palette. It just kind of gives me an overall feeling, and this is kind of what my mood board looks like. And sometimes, if I feel like the colors aren't right, I'll actually edit the photos to kind of change the colors so they don't stand out or look wrong in the mood board. And then I also am going to add some keynotes in here. I usually just kind of add like a general idea and then I flesh it out a little bit later before I send it to my client. So this is actually what my mood board will look like when I send it to a client. Obviously, I'm going to have a lot more color in it. I won't just send them like a white document. This usually is sent in my creative direction presentation where I go over all of the reasons of why I chose it. I go over the overview, the typography, the color palette, and brand elements. I also really like to add brand words just so my client can kind of get a better understanding of why I chose the ideas that I did. And that's pretty much what I do. Honestly, the mood board is one of my favorite parts of the creative journey just because it's so fun to look at all the different designs and kind of see what my mood board will eventually turn into and then what the final will look like. But yeah, thank you so much for watching.